Hi everyone. It's great to be here. I was at the one in San Francisco, and this is exciting to come to the East Coast. Well, I guess it's not the East Coast, the East. I came from Vancouver. I'm here to talk to you about Visier and how we approach analytics at scale. So one of the things I find so exciting about this conference is it is just evidence of how much we're embracing people analytics as a discipline and as a way of approaching making better decisions. And so you put people analytics and the information somebody needs to make a better decision, and they make a better decision. But people are making people decisions every day. Imagine if everybody at your organization could have access to that same kind of information and make little better decisions every day. 1,000 people making 1,000 better decisions every day. Imagine the transformation you could have at your organization. That's exactly the kind of vision that our founders had when they set out to establish Visier. Our founders came from Crystal Decisions, Business Objects, and SAP. And they really wanted to revolutionize the way we manage people and the way we approach work with analytics. But their experience in BI really showed them that there were a lot of blockers to success in this. It didn't matter how successful or how experienced as data scientists or data analysts were in charge, there were the same kind of things kept getting in the way. And these kind of obstacles were even more pronounced in HR, where the data is gross and messy and complicated, and people aren't always paying attention to how things should be done. So they set about establishing Visier and a new way of approaching data analytics. So one of the things that we see that really get in the way of the traditional BI projects are they're complicated and they're time-consuming. Success with analytics is really all about having the right answers to the right questions at the right time. If you don't have that, then what's an expression I heard, I think at the last PAFOW, is that you've got a whole lot of overhead and not a whole lot of action. So these are things like maintaining your tech stack. It's about embarking on these long projects of requirements gathering and data validation and messy data cleanup and data transformation loads, and putting together a team and building a team of the right skills, and then watching that team have to expand as your report requests just seem to stack up. And it just really slows down the approach. And at the end of it, hopefully you have something magnificent. But was it magnificent for the requirements 2 years ago and not the requirements today? The other big challenge we see with the BI approach is that it's really, really hard to modify, and it's hard to add to, and it's hard to extend. So it really has been getting in the way of that timeliness and the real value add. So we decided to take another approach, because we know that when people want to embark on data analytics, they have a goal in mind. You know the unique requirements of your organization. You know the kind of questions you want answered, maybe that are really distinct for your organization. So you've plot out your journey, but as you're starting your journey, again, you start to get a little bit bogged down. If it's not by the data loading and the data transformation. By the way, Visier tried to use off-the-shelf data loading tools, and we broke them repeatedly. So we built our own. So we know that's a big challenge. We know extending the data model is a huge challenge. Or what if your HRIS changes and you have to start all over at the build again? And then there's the report requests, the never-ending report requests, and all of a sudden you're there. You have these incredible questions that you want to get answered, and you can't quite get there. You've got your vision, but it's just these things getting in your way. So there's something, though, that we realize that has been solved in other areas of technology in general. The business and technology have long since accepted that applying domain expertise, that is, expertise specific to something like HR or finance, to the transactional side of the house makes a huge difference and allows for standardization. So you have Workday for HRIS, you have Salesforce for CRM, you have Marketo for marketing. Nobody would suggest building a marketing solution from the ground up or an HRIS system from the ground up. We know that when you build a transaction system, applying business expertise to the solution, you can really streamline business processes, as these vendors have shown us over and over again. But they are counting on people doing the same thing, the same processes one after the other. People don't explore data that way. We start with a question, we have another question. Maybe your question is different than your next question. People move all over the place. There's so many different ways to explore the data. So that kind of linear approach that we can use in transaction systems isn't going to work in standardizing people analytics. But the kinds of questions that people ask, the data that underpins those questions, are the same. And they do allow us to start to connect the data in a way that really makes sense and is standardized. And that's what we have done. We started our approach to data analytics by identifying the best practice people analytic questions that most organizations have. We know we can't answer every single question you have, but we can answer a good many of them. And we know the data that you're going to need to answer those questions, and we know how to connect them. So we bring all of that together into a single solution with an analytical model at its center that is pre-built, pre-designed, and maintained and added to by us. We continue to add and extend our data model, connecting and plugging everything in where it needs to go, so all you need to do is add that additional information. We added O&A data a couple of releases ago, and so that allows our friends at TrustSphere, for example, to send us their data, and we just plug it right in, and you can start to look at it alongside your performance and your retention data. We do the data management. As I mentioned, we built our ETL solution from scratch to manage HR data. Who here came from a different background from HR? Like were you initially? Did HR data surprise you? Did it make you want to cry? Yeah, we find that. People underestimate HR data, I think, because people underestimate HR. HR data is hard, and it is messy, and it needs a whole lot of examination and a lot of work and a lot of care and attention on the way in. And that's something that we like to take off your plate and make a little bit more usable so you have a beautiful, clean, standard repository of data that you can share. And we have said that end-to-end management solution. We're a hosted solution, so we manage the process and we manage the system and we maintain it and update it for you. So there's a lot of hands-off. And all wrapped around this is data storytelling and described insight. The described insight are things like an embedded definition of voluntary turnover. So your manager is looking at their turnover for the organization and go, what is voluntary turnover? I don't understand. They can pick up the phone and call you, sure, or they can click on the little question mark that says, this is what voluntary turnover is. Everything's embedded in the system, including a little guide. We also have role-based security, so that enables self-service permission. So again, no more writing one report for this manager and another report for this manager because they have slightly different security needs and slight variations. We have a single role-based security, one dashboard, one collection of analyses, share them to whomever, and they will see only what they should, which enables amazing self-service and takes that burden off you. That's what we want to do. We want to remove the burden from you so that you can start focusing on the real value-add stuff. We have content solutions that we apply. Our solutions are additive, and what that really means is in addition to opening up new sources of information, they also work with each other. So they actually really have a multiplication effect. So that means things like, did the safety training that I'm tracking in my LMS, did that actually have an impact on the safety incidents on my work site? So we'd see that through our workforce data. Or did the planning, our future planning for new hires, are we actually hiring against that goal? Is our attrition rate going to get in the way of us achieving that goal? You'll be able to start to look at things in combination and really get a full exploration and full sense of what's happening. And all you need to do is add in the data, the extra data sources, and these analyses are unlocked. And as I mentioned, we're not looking at replacing the great work that you do. What we're looking at doing is relieving the burden from you so that you can actually do things like analyses that support your organization and advise your business leaders on how to use data to their best advantage. We want to enable you to do some of that really intense, bespoke analytics that are unique to you, and we do that by allowing you to extract the clean prepared data from Visier and use it into another tool, or maybe an organizational BI tool, or data warehouse, or you can leverage our predictives, which are proven against 8 million employee records. I think we host more employee records than just about any other platform out there. And we also have benchmark data. Because we have 8 million records, we're able to benchmark that data and make it available to you. So is your turnover rate going up? Is that a problem? Is everybody's turnover rate going up? How do you measure? How do you sit in? What about by industry? So you have that access to all that information. Because we don't think that you should have to choose between supporting your entire organization and perpetuating analytics across your organization and being able to do the kind of agile analytics that you want to be able to do. We think you should be able to do both, and that's our goal, and that's what we're enabling. So thank you.